you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. This is Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the big show. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by. As always, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as your mother-in-law. And get on our good site. Refer to the Chris Voss Show. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss, one of the TikTokity and all those crazy places on the internet. We have another amazing gentleman telling us his stories of life, his journeys, some of the things he's doing, and some of the cool products he's working on and coaching that he does. We have Richard Lovett on the show with us today. He is a British-born actor who defied the odds and took Bollywood by storm. He's armed with a background in acting and now applies his expertise to the top 1% of entrepreneurs and businesses as a sales director for multiple 7 to 8-figure agencies. He is a keen grappler and is bringing out a product called Grapplers Guard, a soap that has been made specifically for fighters and grapplers that kills bacteria in its tract. Welcome to the show, Richard. How are you?
I'm amazing. Appreciate you having me on, and that was an amazing intro.
There you go.
A lot of words, but you got it.
There you go. Give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, so my handle on every single social site out there is closedandpaid.com, because the majority of I do is in sales, B2B businesses.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, everything.
Okay. And give us a 30,000 overview of what you do and how you do it there.
Okay, so my bread and butter is I'm a sales director for 7, 8, even 9-figure businesses, usually B2B. Mm-hmm. And so what I do is I come into their business and I assess their sales process. This is kind of, I don't want to be boring about it, but I assess the sales process from A to Z, from when someone sees an ad all the way through to them closing and going on to the offer. So I'm working on VSLs, I'm working on ads, the copy, the sales reps, the scripts, everything A to Z.
There you go. And so you help them reach the next level. Does a company need to have a certain amount of money to work with you, or a certain amount of clout in some way, Fortune 500, et cetera, et cetera?
No, not at all. But I mean, the majority of companies I work with are very wealthy, but I have worked with from the ground up companies, just because quite a lot of them have funding as well, VC capital, angel investors, etc. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, if you have my consulting fees, then I'm happy to work with anyone, really.
There you go. If you can afford them, you're good to go.
That's how the world works.
There you go. What are some of the experiences you've had in helping clients? Do you have any success stories maybe you can tease out that are short?
Yeah. Do you know what? To try and relate this to a lot of the audience, I'm a big fan of helping. I also help sales reps individually, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not just businesses, that's just the bread and butter, but coaching sales reps. Because one thing I believe people don't maybe know this game, or they've heard about it. Online sales to most people is this scammy world where you just don't want to be involved, and someone's been scammed in their life, right? Mm-hmm. $10,000 here, it's gone. Now, I'm in online sales, and when I first started, I made $17,000 in my second month. I made $25,000 in my third, 33 in my fourth, and continually going up since then. And so I was amazed. I was like, I can't believe I found this so late. Being an actor, and I heard the fact you can go on a call, you don't get employed by a company, you just close the deals, they put it on your calendar. I was like, what? This can't be true. And then it was true. So I was like, just someone give me a job, and I know I will, this is my thing. And then it worked. And but now majority of my work is now helping people do the same. And so you're asking for a success story. I have a student in Nigeria, right? This is like one of the worst places just in terms of stereotypical thoughts of Nigerian princes taking millions,
Yeah.
stories.
Oh yeah, I've got them all in my email.
Yeah, exactly. And he's defied the odds following my methods. He made $48,000 in 3 months from Nigeria. And that for me shows the power of online sales and the opportunity there.
Most definitely. I mean, that's pretty freaking amazing. So tell us about you. You have an interesting story worming through Bollywood and different things. Tell us about where you're born, how you grew up, and kind of some of the influences you got down this road.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking. Because like I started I'm from the UK, British, very northern. So around, people will know Manchester, Leeds in the UK. So grew up there into football, Manchester United, lots of sports. Never really got to, because it was very much like a hard place to live. Never got to do and experience the whole like drama acting type thing. But all my family did. You know, if you did it in my school or you tried to, you would be bullied. So I never did. I never got that chance. And then, you know, as I got to that chance, you go to uni and kind of explore and do what you want. And that's where I started to explore film and TV. You know, I just felt that's what I wanted to do, be on TV and do something in that sense. And so that's what I did at university. I know I'm kind of skipping ahead from my childhood here, but I really enjoyed it. But the one thing is I also loved personal training at that point. I loved athletics, training in the gym. And so I became a personal trainer. Okay. I got fairly known in the UK for, you could say, being a bit of a loudmouth towards a lot of the advice, at least just calling it out and saying, you know, this is very terrible. Let's fast forward crazily, Chris. You wouldn't believe I ended up in Mumbai, India, training Bollywood actors for movies.
Yeah, it's been explosive. It's been an explosive thing there, Bollywood.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I was just landed in this place and I was training actors. I was like, this is kind of crazy, but I was also in the film industry, right? So it was kind of just, I've just been doing film and TV and now I'm in the film industry, but it's in Mumbai. So do you know what? I'm just going to do my auditioning, which I was wanting to do anyway, but I'll do it in India. You know, and so I was just auditioning and got loads of roles. And look, they were small roles. They were like the stereotypical British army officer and police officer, you know?
Oh, yeah?
I did all of those. And then once you've done 4 or 5, you're like, I'm kind of bored of this, you know?
I'm bored of acting. Most people, you know, they want so bad to get into acting. They see his life career, but you got bored of it, huh? I
got bored of like you would say to any actor, if they do really small part-time roles over, then you get bored.
Yeah.
It's not really pushing you. So
you want that main role.
You do, exactly. But like then for me, it was make a decision. The only way I'm going to get a main role is to learn Hindi. Right? You stop or you learn Hindi. And no white guy, or what we call Gora in Hindi is white guy. That's what they would call me. But no Gora has ever kind of breached that. And I was like, I'm going to do it then. So I learned Hindi and then, you know, mujhe sab samajh aata hai, I can speak Hindi, and started auditioning in Hindi, which was a tough one.
How hard is it to learn that?
I don't know. I think we English people are kind of ignorant with languages. Like, I just found it extremely difficult.
I can imagine. Isn't there? It doesn't. I've heard that India has like about 1,000 different variations of dialects or something. Or
I don't think it's that high, but it's very high.
Yeah.
You know? There's a lot of languages.
Yeah. Here in America, we just stick to American and redneck, and that's pretty much it. America. Deliverance. You know, I mean, other countries, they have their things. Yeah, that sounds like, I think that's like challenging from what I've heard to learn. It's almost like trying to learn Russian.
Yeah, well, it felt that way. I mean, I don't know Russian, so I was like, I don't know if this is hard or not, but it was a foreign language and the sentences and the structure was like backwards.
Mm-hmm. So did that help with your success in Bollywood?
It helped in a sense. I could go and audition now for Hindi roles because there's no main roles in English, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
None for white guys, they don't really write that type of character because it's just like, there's no one out there, so like why would we write the character? And one day, and this was like in 2019, like this was just before COVID, right? I got called because by an agency, and they were like, they'd seen my YouTube videos, and I put these specifically out because I was like, I know one day a director will see some of these clips of a white guy speaking Hindi. That's why I did it. I got called from an agency and they said, hey, are you Rich Lovett? I was like, yeah. And they were like, my director's seen your clips and he wants to speak with you. I'm like,
oh, wow.
I'm like, yeah. I That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I meant to be. And then he flew me to Mumbai. I was in Bangalore at the time. And I auditioned for this role, by the way. And I took 2 weeks of training for this part.
Oh, wow.
They sent me the script and I was like, I've got to nail this. So it's 2 weeks of just constantly training.
Mm-hmm.
I just nailed. I was singing and dancing in the audition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just went for it, and I nailed it. I've watched it recently because he sent it me, and I was like, "Hey, I did a good job there." But I got the role that day.
Mm-hmm.
So this was going to be a film in 2020, believe it or not. So I went home for Christmas, and then we came back. We all know what happened. I was stuck in India for 3 years.
Oh man! Wow. That's crazy. That's a book right there. We had a guy on recently who wrote a book from his experience of he went to Greece to vacation and he lived in Iraq, and I guess he was a international flight attendant. He lived in Iraq and he went to Greece for a week and got stuck there for 3 years with COVID.
At the same time, like in COVID?
Yeah, at the same time. And so he basically wrote a book about his experience in living in Greece and, dealing with this thing.
Hey, I was in India. It was an experience, I'll tell you that.
I'll bet. And India's got so many people. It probably ravaged through the population there with the numbers of people they have.
At one point, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So where did you go from there?
Don't mind me drinking organic milk.
Oh, there you go.
Where I went from there is the film was on and off. I came back in 2021 after many years there. I thought that was the end of it. And then in 2022, they called me up again and said, the film's going on. And at this point, I looked much older and I had long hair. And they said, no, you're not doing it.
Oh, wow.
You don't look like a character. And I was like, oh, damn, like all that time, I put so much effort into it, money and training. And then basically, my girlfriend said, cut your hair. Go to the clean yourself up. And I did. And then I sent a picture back and they were like, perfect. Mm-hmm. So I got the role. And like this time last year, I was in India filming for 3 months. Mm-hmm. And in 6 days, it releases in cinemas worldwide.
In 6 days right now?
Yeah, on the 7th of June. So
there you go. What's the title of it?
Munja. Munjya.
Munjya. There you go. So you might end up being a big star here next week.
No doubt. I don't think it's been a long time since Agora has been on the silver screen speaking Hindi.
There you go. This looks pretty scary too. This creature character is on the cover. Looks like a couple of my ex-mother-in-laws. No, I'm just kidding. That's not right. Don't do that. But yeah, it looks like Gollum on crack.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the first time that kind of humanoid type creature with special effects has been done in Indian cinema. So.
Oh, really? So you guys are you guys are up there using the AI and stuff and different things. So there you go. That should be interesting to watch. So let's see. Now, move forward to when you started consulting for businesses and how you got into that.
Oh, yeah. I landed back in the UK from India. I was back at zero because I was training and acting. And so I got to India back with my wife. We kind of came back from India. Mm-hmm. This is a kind of long story. And then I was at zero and my wife was here. And I was like, I'm going to have to create and make money quickly for the both of us. And then, as I said before, I heard about this sales closing. You can make 10% if you close a deal for $10,000. And so I got my way onto a job somehow. Mm-hmm. And it took me like a month and I was just top of the leaderboard. And honestly, from that, this was like 2022, early 22. And then from there, it's been going up and up and up with that stuff.
There you go. It's quite the thing you've learned. And so now you help companies. How long have you been doing the coaching for companies and stuff?
Yeah, since the end of 22, so like October 22 onwards, I've just been, then I was on an offer closing and then I started managing the whole team, like 8 people and then 10 people. And then I got brought onto another offer to coach them what I was doing and then coach another. And I was tweeting and telling everyone what I'm doing. And then the crowd asked for a course to learn what I'm doing. And then I released a course and then the course turned into business owners joining.
Wow.
now it's like self-fulfilling kind of prophecy of me helping people kind of do and implement these systems, you know?
There you go. Let's get a plug-in for this other product you're working on for MMA fighting.
Yeah. So, go on, Chris.
And the website for it too. I know you said it's under construction, but if you know the URL, Slug, maybe by the time this goes up or shortly thereafter, the Slug will be working.
Yeah, it will be live very soon. It's www.grapplersguard.com. Mm-hmm. So, like, when I was in India, I got introduced to Jiu-Jitsu. You know, and it's a sport that's growing massively now in the States and in Europe. And I started in India. When I came back to UK, I carried it on. Weird thing was, when I got back to UK and I was doing it, and by the way, you just kind of roll on the floor with sweaty men. Mm-hmm. It's always a bit weird, really. There's some really weird positions you end up in. But,
yeah, I equate it to sometimes it looks like, I'm like, okay, so that's what prison sex must look like. It's like a joke on MMA stuff. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm like, there's parts of their body they're touching that I don't find appropriate, but, you know, everyone's got a different flavor.
100%. Whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, I try and keep people away from my no-no zone, except for my priest.
Oh, except for the priest, right? Okay.
Yeah, because that's Jesus.
No, for sure. I get that. But yeah, sometimes in Jiu-Jitsu, you have to accept. You know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say certain words on this show, but
you can swear on the show. Probably at this point, once we're past the thing.
What I was going to say is, like, sometimes you have to accept kind of balls on your face. You know.
That's Fridays around here.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and 6 p.m. here.
So you've created something that can help wash those balls on the face and whatever might come with it.
Wash your face.
Tell us about that.
So look, when I came back to UK, what was crazy to me is I was in India, and the place we were training was a dingy place. I got to UK and I was training in a really high-tech gym. Everyone gets staph infection in any contact sports, like in grappling, in wrestling, in jiu-jitsu, in MMA. Mm-hmm. People get staph infection all the time. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's so serious. People don't realize how serious it is. It looks small to start with, and if you leave it, so many people get sepsis and die.
Wow.
And I got it, and then my mum's in the NHS, the National Health Service. I showed her after a few weeks, and she was like, Rich, get yourself to the emergency room. Mm-hmm. Like, this is very serious.
Yeah.
And so I went, and then I had staph infection, and it was really bad.
Wow.
And they put me on antibiotics, and I was on this for 2 months, and it was hard, like, just not working. I'd finish a round, and then still really bad. And I was scared, and Mum was scared. And, you know, I was just like, do you know when you get something really bad? I think everyone's been through this kind of journey where you get something bad, and then you go on Google, and you just don't stop until you feel like there's someone else on the internet in the same position, and you work out what people are doing, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I stumbled across someone telling me about this thing called colloidal silver. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds weird. Mm-hmm. And then I researched it, and it's so conflicting because you've got lots of Google sources saying, no, don't do it. And there's this guy who drank loads of it. He generated it himself and turned blue. So I was like, okay, got to be careful here. But then there's a lot of research from a long time back on colloidal silver, certain nanoparticles, and it being very healthy. Bearing in mind, they used to use silver 2,000 years ago when our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was around. They used to use it to, like, clean water and stuff like that. And it killed silver. Actual silver kills bacteria, infection, and virals. Like, there's actually good research on silver and HIV.
Oh, right? Really?
And throat infections, virals and stuff. And so I was like, do you know what? I'll just try some. And I'm not lying here. Within a week of having colloidal silver, and you take a 15 ml every morning, that's it. Mm-hmm. I was a different person. All my stuff was gone. It cleared up insanely quick. I felt like way better than before. And who knows, placebo or not. But I was like, there's something about silver here that I need to look at more. Mm-hmm. I got it from my friend who had staph. And I was like, take this, you'll be fine. And then in 3 days, it cleared up.
Oh, really?
I couldn't believe it. So Then I was like, okay, so jiu-jitsu wrestlers, all these guys, they need this somehow, but I don't want to be going around recommending people to drink liquid silver. I don't want to be in that boat.
Yeah.
I tell you what, putting it in a soap for grapplers on your skin, killing the bacteria there, that sounds like something I should do. And so that's what I've created, and I've been using it for a few months now. I'm like, godsend.
There you go.
I'm so excited to release it to the public.
There you go. You should always wash your hands, people. Darn it. There you go.
They wash their hands, but they forget something else, Chris.
Yeah, after you've had balls to your face. That's my policy on Fridays for the Chris Voss Show. No, you should always wash your hands. So it has some healing properties in there. You think to help kill antibiotics? It looks like it was used as kind of an antibiotic for a lot of years.
Oh, it was,
penicillin.
The cool thing about it as well is it doesn't. When you use antibiotics, the bacteria get accustomed to it and become stronger. They don't in the presence of silver. They cannot. It works on parasites. Loads of people got parasites now. And if you look at all these parasite cleansers and stuff, you'll notice silver is used a lot because parasites cannot live in the presence of silver.
I love parasites. We have that on Saturdays for dinner, parasites. Just a whole plate of them.
You wash it down with silver?
I do, yes. Because, you have to cancel both sides or whatever. Yeah, that's it.
You do balls at the face.
Yeah. And then we throw back a vodka on top of that as an extra antiseptic. Vodka will eat anything, I suppose, or whiskey. How hard was it to develop your own soap? I mean, that sounds like kind of an interesting business model to go down. I mean, is it hard to launch something like that? I know there's a lot of different kind of independent soaps on the market nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's actually so easy to launch any product yourself, and there's so many manufacturers now offering the ability to they'll help you customize the formula. You can even just buy formulas that are pre-made and they have it ready, done.
Really?
You just whack a label on it if you want. But obviously for me, there's nothing out there with silver in it. And so I spoke to a manufacturer and they source quality ingredients. I got it certified that it's high quality. And then basically I took a formula that was 100% natural with tea tree and cocoa butter and coconut oil and stuff. And I just added silver in. And so you have no idea. It's 0.5% silver, but that's all you need for it to have an effect,
Wow. Maybe we'll make the Chris Voss Show podcast soap, sell it in the merch section, and it's just good for washing balls to your face, pretty much, and whatever else is going on with you. Wash your hoo-ha and your balls with the Chris Voss Show soap, now available at...
You need that down the bottom of this screen here. Instead of subscribe to this, buy this balls to the face soap.
Yep. Watch for our did you just come back from Thailand cream? We'll have that too soon. I don't know what that means. I love that joke. Anyway, the any final things that we have missed that you want to pitch out to our audience? Yeah,
I mean, look, this soap, I was looking on the market. There's another soap called Defense Soap, and I just want to go and say that it looks garbage. I'd rather have balls on my face than have that kind of soap. But Joe Rogan shouted them out 7 years ago.
Oh, really?
And so I'm watching this when I'm making my soap, and I'm thinking, I'm getting Joe Rogan to I'm going to send this to him, balls to the face kind of slogan on the top, and have him do. That's kind of the main goal. So we're going to rocket towards that. But we're also releasing, and if there are any kind of wrestlers, jiu-jitsu people watching, we've got a Whizzer wash, which is a daily wash. We've got an armbar defense soap, got a single leg sunscreen, a Granby roll deodorant, oil platter, beard oil, you name it, we've got it.
There you go. So it should be pretty interesting. So give us the .coms as we go out for all the stuff you're doing there.
Absolutely. So in sales, if you want to get into sales, I post jobs every day on there. So that's www.closedandpaid.com.
There you go. Okay. So thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Chris. Absolutely, my friend.
Thank you. And thanks, audience, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss on the TikTok, and all those crazy places on the internet. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.